Hey there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Clay?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm just gonna prep my mic here.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Take your time here. How's your morning been? Can't hear. You're on mute.
Yeah. Is it better? Can
There
you
we
hear
go.
it coming from the mic?
Yep, much better.
Okay,
We're
good.
all good now. Yep.
Awesome.
How's your morning going?
It is going well. Yeah, gearing up for kind of I take Wednesdays off a little bit, like not fully, but
Mhm.
because Amplify EDM stuff starts kind of now, and then day job is Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Nice. Not bad at all. Well, thank you for your flexibility and all, and still reading with us all together. So appreciate that a whole lot. Ideally,
Of
I wish
course.
this was in person, but we'll take what we can get for now. Supposed to be out in Austin later on this weekend now, so had to postpone some things because I was sick pretty much throughout this week. So, but wanted to at least get this in. So, thank you again.
Of course. Hope you're feeling better.
Oh, I am for certain. Let's get right on to it. So, basically, thank you for being here on Queensport Conversations, our South by Southwest edition. Miss K. So I have a lot of good questions to ask you here. So if you could just tell the audience of who you are and who you work for, or what you represent.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Clay, for having me. My name is Kay Cote. I am the CEO and founder of Amplify EDM. We are a company that helps local artists thrive, local EDM, electronic music artists, as well as give back to our community and create community engagement and then give a platform for artists to share their stories through our podcast.
Wonderful. Now, Kay, you have a diverse skill set that spans event production, voiceover artistry, podcasting, and graphic design. How do you navigate these different roles, and what inspired you to pursue such a multifaceted career path?
Yes, I've just over time have developed these creative skills. I'm trained formally in graphic design and marketing. That's what I graduated with. And then from there, I just always had little side things that I was doing. At one point, somebody offered me a radio show after just having a conversation. They're like, "Oh, you'd be really great on radio." And I was like, "You know what? Let's give it a try." And so I like to taste test things and build skill sets, especially in the creative fields. Navigating them, they kind of ebb and flow, I would say. Like it's nice to have a diverse set of skills to pull from. And also now as I'm getting into Amplify EDM a little more, seeing where maybe I could be more of an advisor rather than wearing all the hats. So I could use these skill sets to help my artists develop their voice or help my artists develop their marketing skills. And so it's been fun to see it develop that way as well rather than just using all the skills. It's like, how can I consult and advise and share my skills with others?
Sounds good to me for sure. Now, Kay, as the CEO of Amplify EDM, you're dedicated to providing top notch talent in electronic music and entertainment. Could you share some insights into your approach to curating unforgettable experiences for clients and how you stay ahead of trends in the ever evolving world of EDM?
Yeah, so staying ahead of trends is always the challenge. And the best thing I like to do again is to be open minded and to be experimental and to come from a growth standpoint. I always can grow. As a leader, I can grow. I like to learn new ways of doing things. How can we make this better? How can I be an ever learning human being? And so I bring that into the collective of Amplify EDM and the artists that we serve and that we represent excellence. We aren't focused on perfection. We aren't focused on you know being just like in it to be in it, but we're really focused on intentionality and excellence in all we do, and that ever learning mindset, that's been really helping us along the way. And that's how we approach our clients. We say, what do you want from us? How can we do this? How can we help you? How can we fill the gaps? And how can we produce that ever, ever going experience that everyone's going to remember?
Great, that's wonderful. Now, with your background in branding, communications, and small business, you do bring a wealth, Kay, of experiences to the table. How do you integrate all these skills into your role as an event producer, and what strategies do you employ to ensure the success of each event that you organize?
One of the strategies that we employ is after doing an event, we look at the event. We take what we did well, we also look at what can we improve for next time, because a lot of what I'm building is new to me. It's new to the people I work with. We're always innovating and we want to be able to grow. So when we produce an event, we always like to look back and do kind of a recap on what we did, how we did it, how we can improve it, and just keep growing in that capacity. And so using my skills in like the multitude of creative skills is I utilize and tap into those when I need to help with different aspects of an event as a whole. Maybe it's marketing. Maybe I need to be vocal more about the events, promoting it more, being more hands-on on the social media side of things, working with the other, the co-producers or the venue, and just like having that open communication. So I think that's how I've been really utilizing my skills to produce, as we grow, produce better and better events.
Now, just to provide a little insight into your background, you are originally from North Dakota, right? And you're now in Austin, Texas. So, how long have you been in Austin, and how long did you live in North Dakota prior to moving to Austin? If you could share that.
Yes, of course. I've been in Austin in my apartment since December 2022.
Okay.
So that's when I moved here. And prior to that, I lived in North Dakota my whole life. I did live in Austin in an RV during the COVID, like when everybody was buying RVs. I did a temporary stay here, and that kind of got me to fall in love with the place, and I got acclimated. So when I made the official move back, it made it a lot easier. And so yeah, North Dakota was home. I grew up on a farm, and then moved to the big city here of Austin in December 2022.
Wow, that's definitely a big move for sure. Now, how have these different geographical locations influenced your professional journey and the projects that you've been involved in?
Oh, it's been a tremendous, attribute to just explore other places and get to know people. When I lived in North Dakota, I was also very community oriented. I was really involved with our local community. I was doing a lot of the same types of things, just not in the music sector. I was more so in entrepreneurship and and creatives, and I had like a t-shirt company for a while. So I noticed like the same patterns and the same behaviors and the same skills that I loved and the things that I did are the same here. It's just within a different industry.
Sure. Now, as someone deeply involved in the creative community, as you just mentioned, could you share some insights or observations about the differences between the creative scenes in Fargo, Moorhead, North Dakota, and Austin, Texas? And if there are any similarities or differences, how do you think these environments, respectively, impact the opportunities available to artists and entrepreneurs like yourself?
Oh, definitely. I think of Fargo as it was a great incubator for me. It was a great place to develop my skills, to be comfortable. Like I said, I grew up on a farm, so at one point Fargo was the big city for me. So it gave me that expansive mindset right off the bat. I really got involved with other creatives there. I did start to tap into music a little bit more on just for fun, not really on the business side of things. But I would say overall, in both locations, there are those go getter people that I really connected with. And without that tight knit family that I built in Fargo, the growth I saw in Fargo and the encouragement that really fueled me forward into when I moved to Austin. I kept telling myself when I moved here, Austin is a bigger, warmer, faster Fargo. And that was to just kind of wrap my brain around the move. And eventually, just like I came out here, I just did the same process over as I did when I moved to Fargo for the first time. I just started getting involved, finding events to be a part of, finding those like minded people. And it really just was a kind of a cookie cutter behavior to invite that kind of energy in. Moving here to Austin, I found myself back to my roots of music. I loved music. I was always a vocalist when I was young. And Austin just provides that opportunity. Fargo didn't have the music scene so much. So when I got here, it was like my eyes were open. I was like, wow, there's a need in the music industry here that I could use these skills that I developed within that realm. And that's been honestly the secret sauce is it's niching into music has fueled me in a brand new way.
That's definitely great and wonderful to hear for sure. How you've integrated and just completely acclimated into Austin with all of that there. Now, also you serve as a public speaker. Now, your recent work as a public speaker and thought leader focuses on helping leaders build effective communication skills. What are some key principles you emphasize in your presentations? And okay, how do you believe effective communication contributes to success in both business and personal life?
I think communication is one of the key pillars to success and having good communication. Communication is something that I feel is always that I'm working on. I'm very aware of how I'm communicating with others. And I love to help others find that. I love to see someone who used to be scared of public speaking be able to get on that stage and deliver a speech. I think one of the keys to success within communication is active listening. Being able to actively listen and think, like really be actively engaged with the person you're talking with, like whether it be a podcast situation, to really tune into rather than focusing about what your answer is going to be, really focus on what they're saying because naturally your brain is going to respond. I look at communication as a conversation you're having with someone and just talk to the audience, whether it be one person or 500 or 1,000 people. Just talk to them like you would talk to your best friend or somebody who would be interested in the topic you're discussing. And so I like to keep a very simplified approach to communication because it can be so overwhelming. Take one day at a time, find content that helps you grow in that department, whether it be on social media or some books or podcasts around communication, and just give yourself that space to give it a try.
Wonderful. I definitely agree with that for sure, Kay. Now, in addition to your professional endeavors, you've also kind of alluded to this earlier. You're also actively involved with volunteer work within the arts and culture sector. How do you balance your commitments to your career and your community, and what motivates you to give back in this way? If you can expound upon that a little more.
Definitely. Well, my main motivator is to see artists grow and to see them step into their potential and see that they can build a career out of their creative work. It really motivates me to produce events that serve artists. Our artist parties is a volunteer. It is a contributing to that scene. That is something that we're growing, and we want it to just be a place where artists can come and feel safe, feel heard, feel like they can express themselves. They can be on the decks. They can be making music, and know that they are completely loved and where they're at, and that it's a very inclusive environment where you can have those discussions. I think of myself as a creative and what would I want? What would help me grow as an artist? And for me, it's always been that community element. And so that's been a huge part of Amplify EDM is to provide that community, whether it be through the podcast connecting artists or through a actual party that we throw that is geared to connect artists and industry folks. And so, yeah, definitely huge part of my life and I'm always looking for other ways I can contribute and I feel like that's something that I'm optimistic about expanding in as well.
That sounds definitely wonderful. Now, with your experience in podcast production and hosting, could you share some insights into the power of podcasting as a medium for storytelling and connection? And how do you see the podcasting landscape evolving in the coming years? And what opportunities do you think, Kay, it presents for content creators and brands alike?
Oh, this is a great question. I love this question because podcasting has helped me grow in so many ways as a small business owner, as a creative, as even just someone who wants to entertain. Podcasting has helped me develop my voice. I feel like it can be something that can help everyone. Even if you just record your voice talking to somebody, you don't have to produce it, you don't have to put it up online. You can just practice. Podcasting is ultimately how I refined my public speaking skills on larger scales, like getting on bigger stages. I really think it can be a huge benefit because it gives people the opportunity to hear your story. It gives people the opportunity to gain knowledge in an industry. You can literally look up nearly virtually any industry and find a podcast that can help you grow. If you're curious about something, you can find a podcast that can help you grow. That's the beautiful thing about podcasts. It also serves as slow news in a world that is very bombarded with a lot of talking heads, a lot of heavy headlines, a
Yep.
lot of things where we don't know what we're getting. Podcasts are a place to kind of pause and slow down and just hear the voices of two people, formulate your own thoughts, and to really grow. So I think it's multifaceted in its abilities to help people grow, and it serves as a form of connection. You can podcast with someone from across the world and build a friendship, and you never know where that could go.
Do you feel that podcasting is reaching a bubble that could potentially burst on? And I mean that from a perspective of it's almost a primary form of media now. And you see the decline of cable TVs, and obviously with the rise of streaming platforms over the past decade, more specifically the last several years. Do you see podcasting becoming a true number one form of media to the point where we're not even consuming even more traditional forms of content like news or anything relative to that matter going forward?
I do see podcasting, continuing to grow and becoming a very strong leader in how we process content, how we get our information. I I don't know if it'll ever like 100% like take over traditional news and media. It's too early to tell, but I do think it can become a huge, like a heavy hitter and something where I do know more people, especially younger people, millennials, Gen Zers, and even some people into their 40s and 50s are looking at podcasts as a valid option for learning and for gathering news. So it's going to be interesting to see how it continues to grow. I do see it trending upward. I do see more people getting on the mics, and I do see a lot of really awesome content coming through podcasts.
I definitely agree with you there, 100% for sure. Now, this is kind of taking it back over to Austin. You've mentioned hosting private dinners for Austin's entrepreneurs as a way to foster networking and discussion around marketing strategies. So what have been some of the most valuable insights or lessons you've gained from these gatherings, and how do you see them contributing to the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem in Austin?
Oh, well, I did one of these back in Fargo. I have yet to do one here in Austin, but I have friends that have been doing them, and it's been so insightful. So back when I did them in Fargo for the entrepreneurial scene, as well as attending some here in Austin, I've noticed sitting down to a meal together just opens up communication in a whole new way. You can take people from anywhere and share a meal together. And it's just kind of like breaking bread together. That's always been a way of like humans connecting through food, through experiences. It allows the dopamine to start flowing so people are more at ease. Sitting down to a dinner can be a way to solve problems, to learn new things, to get to know someone you may not have known before. And so I think that's something that is I want to continue to be a part of here, especially with my artists, to have once a month get together, have a meal together, step away from the work, step away from being out in nightlife, communicating at clubs and trying to network and really sit down together and be like, how are you? What's been going on in your life? How are you feeling about your music? And just really have these discussions.
I definitely like the idea of that. Now, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future of your career and your various ventures, both in Austin and beyond? Are there any specific projects or goals that you're particularly excited about pursuing in the coming months and years?
Yes, we have got some goals that we're working towards right now. We are really excited about developing just like who we are, refining. Like I'm always talking about refining and pivoting and just really defining what we are in the space and how we can best serve. The last 6 months has been very experimental. We've tried new things, we've worked with new people, and now we have some data to really formulate what what's the best way to serve. One project we're going to be working on that I'm very, very excited about is we are bringing international artists over for their tours, for touring. And so next up, we are bringing over an artist who's a heavy hitter in the progressive house scene for his first American tour. He's a German producer and he has a huge body of work. And for the last 3 years, he hasn't been able to tour due to just some family things going on. And now, like everybody knows his music, but they've never seen him. So they're like, we're here to like really connect the dots. So planning this tour has been such a highlight. I can't even believe that this opportunity has come to me. He's one of my favorite producers that I've ever even listened to. That's how it all kind of rolled out. Is that I posted a song and tagged him in it and the conversation started and now I'm his road manager. So that's a project I'm really, really excited about. We're bringing him here in May and everything well, I'm sure I'll be just like, I won't be able to shut up about it because I'm just so excited.
That sounds definitely fun for sure. Now, here are some additional questions, either focusing on more on your local expertise in Austin and more so as it relates to South by Southwest, which is going on the next couple of weeks here. Now, South by is a significant event that happens in Austin, drawing people from all over the world. As a local resident now and event producer, how do you see South by impacting the city's culture and economy? And what role do you think it plays in showcasing Austin as a hub for innovation and creativity? Obviously, since you're living there firsthand, what are your views and thoughts on that?
Oh, I think South by Southwest is an incredible opportunity to get connected into within the Austin local scene as well as the conference. It brings together so many people travel in. I think it's an opportunity as us locals to meet and greet people, say hello, tell people about Austin, tell people, like, get to know them. Where are they coming from? And so, again, it's just a great way to connect. It's a great way to get people excited about what we're building here in Austin as a whole, and just to take in different events going on and culturally grow. Just it's an immersive experience that you can go and take in by just even walking into downtown and strolling around and checking out some of the activation centers, as well as hearing some of the keynotes within the conference. It's a place where you can make it what you want it to be and you can share it with others. I feel like as an event producer, I think it's a fun time to like for me to even just be getting ideas for future events that I'm doing. I'm also involved with some of the activations that are going to be going on. And so seeing how can I grow as a event producer, take in what's going on around me and use that to make better events for my own company as well.
With your background in event production, could you share any insights or tips for attendees looking to make the most of their South by Southwest experience? Are there any hidden gems or lesser known events that you would recommend checking out during the festival?
Yes, I would, take a look at the website and see what activations are available. There are things like I know Fast Co does an activation. I know like Dolby Sound did one last year. I literally last year I just moved here, so I was like I didn't know what anything about South by, so I just walked into the city and just like took it in. So I'd say give yourself space to just take things in, try some of these things. It can be overwhelming because it is so huge. So know that like just give yourself some time to process and take in some of these outside events. Community events that are like official community events are super, super cool and super trending. And so really go to the conference, but like see what's going on outside of the conference. There's a lot that's going on. The whole city comes alive.
Yeah, as someone deeply embedded in Austin's creative community now, how do you believe it contributes further to the city's reputation and as a vibrant and diverse cultural hub? Are there any particular aspects of the festival that you believe capture the essence of what makes Austin unique?
Oh, definitely. For me, I'm really excited about the music track. Obviously, that's really speaking to me. And I want to see how I can maybe get involved with that with the years to come. So, the music track, I think, is an opportunity for up and coming talent to showcase their work, to push themselves. And I highly recommend, local talent too. And from anywhere, apply. 2025 will be here before you know it. Take this time to take it in this season and then see, like, if you're an up and coming artist, think about applying, because you never know what that can bring.
I absolutely agree with that. Start early and often because you just never know. Now, given your experience, Kay, in branding and marketing, how do you approach promoting events during South by Southwest to stand out amidst the flurry of activity and competition? Are there any strategies or tactics that you found to be particularly effective in driving attendance and engagement?
I've utilized social media. Instagram has been my friend. And just like another thing I like to do is in person. Like if there's something going on I want someone to be a part of, I talk to them. I invite my friends, I DM them. I find it really important to keep the human to human connection alive and utilizing social media to do that. And so I treat my social media like I'm talking to my best friend because that's what it is. I'm talking to a ton of my friends on the other side of that camera. And I want them to join me and have a good time. So I think focusing on what's the outcome, what's the goal here? We want people to enjoy themselves, to learn a little something, to take in something that's going to bring them value and bring them something enjoyable for their time that they're giving me. And so I like to keep that in the back of my mind. How is this going to bring value to this person? And why am I inviting them? It's very intentional behind the like how I go about that. And I think it has a really great results. It may take a little more time to do it that way. However, the results are really great because then you get that person that does come to that event and they're like, "Kay, thank you so much for inviting me. I am so excited to be here today." And they're really inspired by that. And so I think about that when I'm DMing individual people.
Wonderful. And you kind of answered this already, or you already touched on this lightly, but South by does often serve as a platform for emerging artists and innovators to showcase their work to a global audience. So, as CEO of Amplify EDM, you obviously mentioned that South by serves as an opportunity to discover new talent and forge connections within the music and entertainment industry. But how do you, in your capacity of Amplify EDM, how do you or would you navigate the festival to identify promising opportunities for collaborating or partnership?
Oh, this is a great question because I think it's this year I'm taking it as a learning opportunity. I want to take in the festival and see, like observe. It's a very observing year for me because this is my first year at like being a part of South by Southwest as Amplify EDM. And so I have a lot of intention behind where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get involved, and then take that again and learn from that and go into 2025 with some new ideas and innovative ideas for events to be part of it next year and even leading up to next year. We've been having discussions around the idea of how can we get involved to help the festival promote for 2025. And so that's something, this year is a very observant year. I just want to take it in very intentionally and see how that can integrate into next year.
Great. Now, as a local entrepreneur now in Austin and a thought leader, what do you see the long term impact of South by Southwest on Austin's identity and trajectory as a city? How do you envision the festival evolving in the years to come? And what opportunities do you think it presents for the continued growth and development of Austin's creative ecosystem?
The growth is, I think, the sky's the limit with South by Southwest. It really does showcase what Austin is and who Austin is. And just my experiences being here is people who come to Austin in a general sense. This is why I came to Austin, is to grow in my creative self, grow in who I am as a person, and just have the opportunity to really connect with the right people and put these experiences into action and put what I've put everything into action. I think South by is one of those opportunities that it gives people who are traveling in for it the opportunity to take in the city and to see what it's about and get on that energy. You feel it when you like drive into Austin, fly into Austin, whatever you do, that energy is there. And I felt it when I moved here. And I feel like others are on that bandwagon as well. And they feel that movement. And so South by can be an opportunity or a gateway for people to who haven't been here to come into the city, take it in. I really find so much joy in when I'm walking downtown and I meet people from out of town and we connect and we have a really awesome conversation. And then all of a sudden, we're attending an after party together. Those kind of things, you build friendships and relationships here. And we want people to come back to Austin for South by and then for maybe something else too. Like I had a really great time at South by. I want to go to Austin for a vacation sometime and just take in the city. And so getting those people to like get back, come visit multiple times and yeah, just experience the city as a whole.
Great. I love that. That was a good pitch for the city of Austin. Now, okay, what inspires you personally and professionally? What drives you? What are your motivators?
My motivators, one of them is 5-year-old Kay. 5-year-old Kay, I started meditating going back to who I was at 5 before any influences came into my life of experiences I had being bullied in school and like really drowning out my personality, really shutting myself down for many, many years. So she inspires me. And I go back to her. I go back to myself at 5 and I think, what did I like to do? And the things that I was doing at 5 are all the things I'm doing now in my career. That really inspires me and motivates me. I was that girl cartwheeling through the yard, singing and dancing, had all the energy in the world. I loved to entertain. I loved people. I love making people feel good and bring them joy. And I just finally feel like in my adult life have tapped back into that childhood, like that childhood mentality. You know, life is meant to be lived and we're meant to live on purpose. And when we think back to times in our life when we were truly who we were, those are where we go to find inspiration. So I find a lot of inspiration to my younger years before any of that influence of things that have happened to me throughout the years and things that I've experienced that were maybe negative or put me down. And I tap into that 5-year-old free spirit. And that's really a motivator for me. And I want to shed that light with others. I want to be a light in this industry. The music industry as a whole, there's a lot of moving parts. It can be very overwhelming. And I want the artists that I work with and the people that I work with to know that this business is built on a strong foundation. We are there for one another. We are there for our clients. We work in excellence. And that's how we want to create the ripple effect of Amplify EDM. It's very purpose driven. And our artists know that. Our artists, we can be for anyone, but we're not for everyone. But the ones that do come into the collective and are a part of it, it's just the fit is just it's just naturally organically growing. And then we love to also extend that to other community groups, other collectives, other artist groups. We're very collaborative and we will always be open to having a conversation about planning something together. We're always open to meeting new people because you never know who you're going to meet and you never know what you can create together.
Wonderful. That actually kind of segue into the next question of what would you tell your younger self, but you've already answered that there. So we're good on that. Who are some of your role models or mentors in life that have gotten you to where you are today?
Oh, this one, I hope I don't cry.
Um,
Um, so one of my mentors, her name is Terry Aldrich, and she is from Minot, North Dakota. And she was one of my first mentors. I remember when I quit my day job for the first time ever, I was living in Minot and I went down to Terry's office. I said, Terry, I'm starting a business. And I started my first LLC, which is still alive today, a graphic design LLC. I still do client work. I work with a lot of musicians and artists, but I also work with other folks as well. And Terry, from that day one, has always supported me. She was very scared for me at first, she was like, "Oh, are you going to be okay?" But she didn't show it. And so just having Terry to be there in my corner, I still call her to this day. I'm in contact with her. She gives me so much insight, and she's also creative. She's a singer. She's worked in the music arts since forever. And so she's someone I really look up to. Others I really look up to, I'd say my mom. I have to say my mom. She gave her entire life to us. She laid down her life for her family. She has been my rock, my conversations. I just had a chat with her a few minutes ago, and she's always been there for me. And so that my mom has been a huge influence on me. And I got to say, yeah, that 5-year-old Kay, she inspires me too. I like to ask her advice from time to time. She simplifies things, and she keeps me lighthearted, and she keeps me on track with who I truly am.
Wonderful indeed. Now, what gems do you have to drop for anyone who's out there who is trying to get to a place like where you are, and also to someone who's in a similar path with marketing, podcasting, content creation, music, even, or anywhere in the creative or entertainment spaces? What gems do you have to drop for anyone who's just looking for an extra ounce of inspiration today?
One gem. This is a gem that gets me through anything. It's called Pivot. So the Pivot Gem is an acronym I created, and I actually do a speech around this whole thing, but I'll give the short version. Pivot is helps you create positive change, because oftentimes we're the only ones who are holding ourselves back, or we're in a situation that's holding us back, and we really have something we want to go for. And a lot of people say, just go for it, just go. But then it's like, well, how the heck do I do that? And so Pivot is a way to help do that. And it starts with the pause. If you know you need to make a change, if you want to make a change in life, take a pause, take a breath, and then after you've calmed down, you start to investigate your options. How can you make this happen? What do you need to do to make this happen? What are the options out there? And then you validate the option that's best for you, validate the option you want to try. It may end up pivoting again. Know that, sometimes you make a choice, and then 6 months down the road, you're like, oh, need to pivot, need to make a little change, but validate what you want to try, what you want to go for, and then open doors for opportunity. As you validate that next option for your change, you're going to see doors open. You're going to see new things that you hadn't seen before. And so by having that open mind, you're going to have opportunities that come up. And then finally, you jump on those opportunities and you transform your life. And so the T in Pivot is to transform. And so between the pause, investigate, validate, open new doors for opportunity, and transform, those are some heavy tools that you can use in your tool belt for taking on any change, whether it be something forced upon you or whether something that you choose to make. And so change is the one thing that's going to be constant in our life. It's the only thing we can count on is change. So it's better to be equipped for those changes and to have those tools in your tool belt to really help you actually just do it and go for it.
Great, great, great. Well, thank you very much, Kay, for joining us here on Queen Sport Conversations South by Southwest edition. And your time and all of your advice and your wisdom is certainly valuable. So thank you for joining us again.
Thank you so much, Clay. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. All right. And that ends the recording there. So thank you very much.